Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time to embrace a youthful mindset and envision your future. Take the lead is in your world.
Take the lead is in your world.
This platform serves as a space for engagement designed to equip young people to become effective leaders. They are actively contributing, creatively engaged, and determined in various fields. And now, this is Take the Lead.
Hello to you, West Africa and the world at large. We are here again. Welcome to Take the Lead, the 15th episode of your exciting youth program on West Africa, Democracy Radio in Dakar, Senegal. My name is Augustine Cully, and today we will focus on discussing young people in the fight against rape. You heard me. Young people in the fight against rape. Please follow us right now on 94.9 FM. We are also streaming live on YouTube at WADR News and on Facebook, WADR English Service. You can also get us worldwide at wadr.org and listen live and direct from our main studios at anywhere, anytime. As a reminder, we will be reading your comments on our live broadcast. So please send your reactions through the comment section on the live feed. Now, according to the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, women and girls are experiencing a staggering rates of gender-based violence, including conflict-related sexual violence, in the latest outbreak of fighting that has engulfed the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC. In its statement released in February this year, 2025, nearly 500 cases of sexual violence were reported within a single week in the Goma area, including more than 150 involving children. Now, this number likely represents only a fraction of the actual survivors, that is, those who managed to reach care, with many more unable to due to services being cut off for fear of retaliation from the perpetrators or stigma in their communities. Also, here in the West African sub-region, data from the Higher Institute of Population Services in Burkina Faso revealed that in 2022, approximately 250,000 women were victims of sexual violence, including rape, which we are talking about today. And those numbers have arguably increased in recent years. These are among the many reports that trigger our desire to discuss this topic today.
Take the Lead is back in 2025 with a brand new format. Yes, your youth exchange space will now be broadcast live every Friday at 4:05 p.m. Universal Time. And that's not all. Dear internet users and WADR subscribers, you have the opportunity to experience the show live and direct on our online platforms on Facebook at WADR English Service and on YouTube at WADR. Take the Lead every Friday from 4:05 p.m. Universal Time and rebroadcast same day at 1 a.m. Universal Time. Also on every Tuesday, your youth program will be rebroadcast at 7:15 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. GMT. Take the lead and champion the discourse for the betterment of young people.
Yeah, that's the charge. That's the charge. We charge you to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people. Joining us today on the program is Sensi Jallo, a young and illustrious Senegalese woman, born in Senegal and raised in the United States for over 2 decades. Sensi brings a globally informed and culturally rooted perspective to her work as a project manager. Next is Estella Nooch Liberty, an enterprising gender equality advocate in Liberia. Estella works for the Initiative for Youth Empowerment and Economic Development, AYED, and is the president of the Criminal Justice and Forensic Science Student Association at the AME University in Monrovia. Of course, that's my alma mater. We also have the one and only Alicia Hongo, a young and promising Gabonese business expert who serves as an agent of the customer service at the international services company Majorel. And not forgetting you, our online followers, whose comments we will be reading throughout this show. But let's greet our illustrious guests, beginning with Sensi. Sensi, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to have you in our studios today.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
How do you feel being here?
You know what? Everyone's been nice, and I'm honored to be here.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Let's hear from you, Alicia. Welcome to the program. How do you feel being here?
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy to be here to discuss among this topic. And thank you also for inviting me.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Estella is online. Let's hear from you. Estella, how are you doing? And welcome to the program.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited today to be on this platform, and I'm glad that we young people can have a space at the table, and I trust that this discussion will be fruitful. Thank you.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you here at West Africa Democracy Radio. Now, let's listen to our respective guests as they share their personal opinion about rape and what it's about. Let's begin with you, Sensi. Please share your personal understanding about what rape is about.
Okay, well, to my understanding, and a general definition of rape will be non-consensual sex. Basically, anything that you don't agree on, and it has been done to you. And when it comes to sexual violence, it is more, it includes rape, sexual harassment, and all of those included.
Okay, great. Let's hear from you, Alicia.
Okay. My personal understanding is that rape and sexual violence is not good because that is a damage, physical, psychological, and emotional, and that people needs some support, assistance, and justice in our society.
Okay, great. And to you, Estella.
So for me, I think rape is for forceful penetration by a perpetrator to a victim, whether the person consented to it or not. And I think rape is bad. It is a crime under the Liberian law, and no one should go through the trauma of rape.
Sticking with you, Estella, how would you categorize rape? Are there different types or forms of rape that you know about?
Yes. So, under the Liberian law, we have this gang rape and we have statutory rape. So, a gang rape is where one or more, 2, 3, 4, and you can count the numbers. A group of people come together to, have a forceful penetration or sexual intercourse with one person. That's a gang rape. So, the statutory rape is a form where you have sex with somebody below the age of 18, whether they accept to be your girlfriend, whether they are not your girlfriend. The fact that that person is underage is a crime under the Liberian law.
Okay, great. Do you have something to add to that, Sensi?
Yes, we also have stranger rape. It is when you don't know the person. There's also acquaintance rape, which I believe it is more prominent, which is uncle, cousin, family, boyfriend. And then the final one is marital rape, which is something a lot of people feel like it can't happen because when you're married, your husband cannot rape you. But that is a problem, and that's a thing too.
Okay, I think that there's something there to follow up about. But when you talk about you being married, so would you explain a bit of the differences in a child being raped, an adult female being raped? How is it? You also want to share light about that, Alicia?
About it. If a woman, for instance, is report, she calls friends or of all relative of hers, and then files a complaint before with the help of a neighbor.
Okay, great. Let's look at the factors responsible for rape. What are those factors? To some extent, one will say maybe the way the lady dresses, maybe the way she looks or so forth. There could be reasons. But for you, Estella, let's begin with you. What would you consider as some factors of rape?
So first, let me address the issue of the statement that you made earlier. Especially in our society, a lot of men complain about the way women dress, and maybe your dress could call him attracted to you, knowing fully well that you are not his girlfriend, you are not his wife, you guys have nothing to do with one another, and then he forcefully take advantage of you. So for me, in my mind, I feel like once you wear anything you feel comfortable wearing, society shouldn't judge you for that because that's who you are and you feel safe wearing it. So for me, what I think is a lot of men need to have this orientation from their homes, knowing fully well that if a woman is not your girlfriend, she's not your wife, you have no right to lust after her. Like a lot of men see women, they just, oh yes, and they just start to distract her in their mind or try to say awkward things about her. No, it shouldn't be. Everyone should be self-aware. They should know that if a lady is not your girlfriend, you cannot have sex with her.
But let's look at the dress code of nowadays females, especially the adolescents, the Gen Zs, the way they dress. One would say have clothing, but then they are, in the streets. For you, Alicia, isn't that a factor that triggers a man's sexual desire when he sees a woman sexily dressed in the streets and showing other parts of her body?
We must return that every woman has a value for the world. If a woman doesn't dress very well outside, some people can have the bad ideas that the woman must awake for that, because outside nobody is always good. We are in the world where the evil is more than the good. That is why women must awake for that, to avoid to be a victim through rape or sexual violence.
Okay. I see you nodding your head. Since you want to add to that, the factors?
Yes, I completely agree with them. I feel like even if you were naked walking down the street, there is absolutely no reason for someone to put their hands on you. It's all about control. So
who should control themselves?
No, men.
Control.
Basically, when we are teaching women to be more decent, to cover themselves, to be careful, we should also teach men that a person is not an object or something that you can use. So basically, seeing a woman having maybe a short skirt and having a rise out of that where you need to go and attack them, that says more about the person that did it and not the woman, because not all of us came from the same background, culture, or have the same principle when it comes to clothing and things like that. So it's about, I feel like, the men to control themselves. And I also want to just add that rape is also, done to men and boys, except I'm sure today we just more focus on the woman. Unfortunately, also for boys, it does happen to them, and boys don't need to be dressing sexy for it to happen to them. So I feel like it's a deeper problem in society, and I guess hopefully we'll
Let me put you a little bit in what form and manner that the boys can also be raped.
Statutory already, under than 18. A lot of kids before 5, 6, 7 years old, they don't know any better. Unfortunately, like I said, there's always uncles, cousins, people that are close to you. And because also boys, they are not watched as much as girls, you know. When you have a boy and you have a girl, you tend to have the girl next to you more than the boy. So you think, oh, it's a boy, he can play all day, he comes anytime at home. But you know, a child that's 5, 6, 7 year old to 10 until 15 as a boy is still not safe. You know, it's still a fragile.
Okay. Before we transition, let's hear from you, Estella, in Liberia. How would you describe the occurrence of rape in your country and, by extension, the West African sub-region that you are aware about?
Okay, so back in 2022, 2021, 2020, the rape issue was on an increase. But I remember back in 2021, we had this mass all black weekend where we petitioned the government and we asked them to make rape a national emergency. So because we are in the various communities and we are on the radios and informing people that rape is a crime and you can be punished for that, I think it has been minimized a little bit. It's not like the way it used to be. So I think we're getting there, but we still need to do more.
Okay. What's about you in Gabon, Alicia? Yeah. How is it like, the occurrence of rape in Gabon?
Okay, in my country, I describe to occurrence of rape in my country, and by extension, the West Africa region as currently it is less and less in my country because everything is discovered by all possible means to avoid this evil in our society. In Gabon, this kind of things is for me rare. It's very rare.
Okay, yeah. It's very rare in your country.
Yeah.
But then it means that what do you think would be the reason why it is now on the increase? Why?
For example, poverty. Poverty is the fact for every individual to apply this kind of things. That is what in our country we avoid it. Because we take care of the women and young girl, we have a awareness about it. That is why in my country is very rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's massive awareness, like Estella was talking. So it means there's massive awareness in Gabon against rape, which could be a factor. But here in Senegal, Sensi, what have you observed in terms of the rate of occurrence of rape?
It's still a problem. It's a problem here also. But what I've noticed is, based on some articles that I've read before, among other things, is that Senegal is one of the countries that have a lot more women speaking against rape. Even though it is, in general, in sub-Saharan Africa, it's less than 10% of women that come and report it. So if you don't report rape, I cannot help you, basically. But as far as here, we do have the Association of Lawyers, of women lawyers here. We do have Badjanugor. We do have La Maison Rose, the Pink House. You know, those are places that you can call, and they will help you provide legal assistance, and they'll provide you with hotlines that you can call to.
Great.
Yeah.
Now let's transition, since we've understood the rape, how it occurs, and let's now look at the effect on the victims or survivors. How does this, wicked, very wicked phenomena affect the victims? And let's begin with you, Estella. Tell us, how have you observed the effect of rape on the victims there in Liberia?
So what I observe in Liberia, a lot of people have mental health issues when they are raped. So because the society is, full of stigmatizations, you realize that a lot of people don't easily recover when they are raped. So I think we still need to do awareness and inform a lot of people that it is not their fault. No one wants to be raped. And everybody will try as much as possible to stay away from trouble, but we cannot, shame them. We cannot openly point fingers at them in the public because that affects their mental health.
Great. You want to add onto that in terms of the effects, how a rape victim is affected?
Okay, I noticed some effects, and first of all, we have the mental health problem. One, such as symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, medical behavior, and personality disorder. That is my point of view about it.
The effect. Thank you. Sensei, you want to add on to that?
Yes, just like she said, there is PTSD, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, there's shame. You can get STDs, you can get diseases, and you can get pregnant, which is the worst thing that can happen after being raped. A lot of people isolate. Some people drop out of college or school, lose their job. And it can basically have lasting effect for a lifetime if you don't talk to anyone.
But how does a victim live? How long does a victim live with these effects?
For a lifetime. It can be for a lifetime. I don't believe it's something that you forget. It depends on how traumatic the situation was.
Wow.
So you can manage to, live your life and understand that everybody has to move on and, achieve your goals, basically. But it's going to always be somewhere in the back of your brain. And I think by doing psychology or getting some type of help, that's a way to learn to live with those type of things.
But for you, Estella, isn't there a moment to recover from this, maybe post-trauma or stress or mental health issues?
I think you need to find someone you can confide in, who you listen to. Maybe the person's voice of encouragement will help you heal, but it's a huge challenge because you realize that you just don't easily forget. Because imagine you going through all of those pains, society will bully you, and you go through a whole lot. So for you to forget, it's kind of difficult. It takes the grace of God.
Okay. Considering the reporting procedure, one would say, if this happened, immediately call this person, either the police, either your family members, either those around. What is the process of reporting rape cases when they happened with you, Sensei?
Well, first thing you do when you get raped is call the police. In Senegal, it's 17, so just dial the number. If you can't, go to the nearest commissariat. The second thing they will always tell you is don't take a shower. Don't wash your clothes, because all of that can be used for evidence. I don't know how advanced things are here, but I know in the United States, you can't shower, you can't do any of that because DNA, hair, anything, that is the person's DNA, can be used to be able to find the perpetrator, who did it, and everything. And the third person is definitely to call someone that you are close to, someone that you can confide in. So first, call the police. Get a certificat médical when you go to the hospital. Don't take a shower and make sure you go and you see an OBGYN. And one thing I would like to add also, me personally, I will take what would you call it? A plan B. A plan B is a pill that you take when, let's say, you have unprotected sex that allows you in 72 hours to, not get pregnant. I will take that just because, out of all the traumatic situation of already being raped, the last thing I would want to deal with after that is getting pregnant. So those are the first four things.
Doesn't it compromise the case?
No, not at all. That is all inside. So here in the pharmacies, you don't need a prescription to get, let's say, Norlevo or something. So you can get that and you won't have to worry about getting pregnant while you deal with, all the already trauma that's there.
Alicia, to you, what would you want a victim to do in this case when they are raped?
In this case of rape, the woman can report it. What I said, first of all, she can call a police. And if the young girl has a boyfriend, she can call the boyfriend to explain the situation. But to explain that situation is not easy, because there is the pain inside of this young lady. And with the strength and attention, sweetness, this young lady can express herself what she has inside her heart. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes we cannot. I don't know what can I say it, but it's not easy, because the damage, first of all, is emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional and psychological and physical. But if this young has his trust about his boyfriends or parents, everything can be good. Okay. So that is my opinion.
Well, we have so far listened to interesting interactions with our guests on this 15th edition of Take the Lead in the year 2025. Let's now travel to Burkina Faso, where a nurse accused of rape at a hospital was recently tried and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The incident took place at the Yagado Ouedraogo Hospital in the capital. In this country, cases of rape and sexual violence are alarmingly common. But what measures are being taken to combat this issue? Our Ouagadougou correspondent Martin Kaba has the details in this report, voiced by Sankule Janko.
This internally displaced woman, whose name we are withholding, is trying to forget a still painful past. A few months ago, she was raped while in the forest, searching for firewood. Not far from her village, in the Bokledo Mohun region, we met her at a displacement site where she recounts her misfortune.
We arrived in Ambrose and started cutting wood behind a bush. A man approached us. He came closer while removing his turban. I was backing away, telling him that I knew him and that if he harmed me, I would tell the village. He replied that he was not going to hurt me, that I was his niece, but I was still backing away. I tripped and fell. From that moment on, he assaulted me. He did what he wanted with me.
Even today, the unfortunate woman still bears the physical and emotional after effects of the double assault. She spends sleepless nights dwelling on this episode in her life. In Burkina Faso, sexual assaults are quite common. In March this year, a nurse at the Yalgadao Ouedraogo Hospital in Ouagadougou was tried and sentenced to 10 years in prison for a rape incident within the health center. According to psychologist Dr. Rasmata Bakiono, this phenomenon is mostly experienced in silence by victims.
It is true that situations of rapes are traumatic for the victims. It is twice as traumatic in social contexts where it is difficult to talk about. Families often ask to keep it quiet because it is shameful and etc. And it really poses psychological problems.
Statistics from the Higher Institute of Population Sciences revealed that in 2022, approximately 250,000 women were victims of sexual violence, including rape. According to Alidou Tiandre Bego, Deputy Prosecutor of Burkina Faso at Ouagadougou High Court, sexual assault is punishable under the Penal Code in Burkina Faso. While the authorities are raising awareness and taking steps to combat this phenomenon, psychologist Dr. Rasma Bakiono said victims must receive support, especially psychological support, to overcome their trauma. This is particularly the case for the victims, who says she has regularly had nightmares since her misfortune.
And of course, thanks to our Ouagadougou correspondent Martin Kaba for that report, voiced by Sankule Janko.
Hey people, my name is Mello, Afrobeat singer from Guinea and Conakry. I love listening to the program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Hello, my name is Fatou Bintou Rassoukane. I'm the CEO of African Start Shop, and I love listening to your program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Yeah. Welcome back to Take the Lead, your premier youth platform that sets the agenda for topical discussions all about young people within the West African sub-region and beyond. We are streaming live on YouTube at WADR News, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and worldwide at WADR.org. Let's quickly recognize our partner radio stations across the sub-region that often relay this program. In Nigeria, we have Darling FM in Owerri, and we have Nenzi FM in Kaduna State. In Liberia, we have Alternative Youth Radio in Lofa County. We have DCN Radio in Rivers County. We have Kwatika Radio in Bon County, and we have Radio Bomi in Bomi County. In Sierra Leone, we say thanks to African Young Voices there in Freetown, Radio Gbaf in Mal 91. We also say thanks to Hands of Hope in Freetown and the Eastern Radio in Kono District there in Sierra Leone. Crossing over to Ghana, we say hats up to Radio Path in the Savannah region. We say hats up to Royals FM in Wenchi. Coming to the Gambia, we also like to say thanks to Numi FM in the North Bank region, as well as Radio Veritas in Banjul. Having said that, let's quickly read some of your comments on our live feed. And those of you following and also commenting on the program, we promise to do this. Gamels Banking says, I'm watching live from Dakar. Thank you. Gabriel Dolo says, thanks so much for the show this afternoon. I'm watching from Waterside, United Nations Drive, Monrovia, Liberia. Very important discussion. Thank you as well. Askel says, good afternoon. I'm watching from 10th Street in Senko, Monrovia. There are a couple of comments that we would love to read as they come along. So please, as we just get them coming, we will certainly read them out. It's often our pleasure to read them out. Okay, so now I think I have a bit of them to get through. Amos Bobby Weir, that's Bobby Amos Weir, says, I believe rape is a deliberate intent. Why we support modesty in dress code, we cannot use it as an excuse for rape. And Bokaltal Calaban says, Great Augustine, nice topic as usual, a phenomenon that is causing lots of damages on mostly young girls. The cursor should be made on raising awareness added to the laws that seem to be not a key solution. Washington T. Cassell says, he's following from 13th Street Sinker. Edwin N. Damo says, thanks Augustine for the show. I'm following from Liberia. My name is Edwin N. Damo. Thanks as well. Yes, I've already recognized your comment. Amos Bobby Weir. Let's see. Okay, so far so good. Emmanuel Dennis says, thanks for always putting Liberian on your show. That's for sure. Coming back here in studio, we've listened to a report where we had a victim explaining the situation. She went in the bush to cut firewood. As usual, in the villages you go and cut firewood. Myself, I did that before. And now this was the situation she met. But what do you make of her story, Sensia?
Honestly, I'm glad that, he did not kill her after that, because how scary would it be to be by yourself in a forest and somebody just comes and has a certain desire that you had nothing to do with and just put it on you. So, yeah, it sounds very traumatic. And I'm sure that young lady would need a lot of help, psychological help in the future.
That's right. What do you make of her story, Alicia?
About me or
the report, the girl from Burkina Faso who was raped.
Oh, okay. According to me, to combat rape, it is crucial to raise awareness, support victim and action the root causes in violence. This involves changing attitudes, improving access to care and assistance service, and apply strict laws to punish this aggressor.
All right. Now, looking at supporting victims in terms of providing support to victims, let's begin with you, Estella. Let's look at what do rape victims need most after experiencing sexual violence, and what you and your organization do in Liberia to also support rape victims or survivors. Can we have Estella? Okay, we will
Hello?
Yes, we are asking about support to victims. What do you think are the support that should be provided to victims, and what's your organization doing as an advocacy organization to help victims or survivors in Liberia?
Okay, so the first thing, they need safe homes. When I say safe homes, it's not like, you just find a place and put them there, because obviously, they will need somebody to talk to. They need to feel safe. They need to feel at home, and they need to be counseled. So you have to take them from among the general body, because we already know that normally society, they will have their own interpretation of everything. A lot of people will say, oh, maybe she and the boy were laughing, or a lot of people will say, oh, what she went to do in the guy room. And some people will be reasonable and some people will be very unreasonable. So because of that, you have to take them from the general body and put them into a place where they can recover from. Yes, I think government needs to open more safe homes.
Okay.
So from organization angle, for us, we believe in empowerment. So once you are empowered, you have a voice. So right now we have this gender equality clubs in 19 schools where we go to students and inform them about what gender equality is, because gender inequality is also an issue that contributes towards rape. So when people are self-aware about who they are, what they stand for, what needs to be done, what they should accept, what they shouldn't accept, you hold them accountable, because to whom much is given, much is expected. So we are in 19 high schools, and we intend to do more. That is, if we have the finances to go across, and we also intend to visit the 15 counties, not only in Montserrat.
Great. Now, as I will turn to you, since while you talk about support, let's also include the legal aspect, the policies being stated by government or institutions to combating rape, ensuring that perpetrators are held accountable. What do you make of them in terms of how effective have you noticed these policies or legal aspects to be when it comes to combating rape and ensuring the perpetrators are held accountable?
I'm already smiling because, rape has been criminalized in Senegal in January 2020. So before that, it was a misdemeanor. So that means the maximum you get is 10 years, or the minimum you can have a month or two for raping somebody. Now, I don't want to get political. We know how this thing happened. The biggest rape case that happened in Senegal, so happened or not, basically, let's say it happened so much, and the one time that actually thought that it was important to criminalize it was in this situation. But I'm still glad that we took a step forward to criminalize it, meaning that it's a minimum of 10 years of prison and a maximum of a lifetime while being in jail. So like I said, as far as support, in Senegal, we do have the Maison Rose, we do have the Badge Nogor, we do have the, I believe it's CONAF. And so those are places that you can always call and you can come and they will assist you. Because the first thing you don't want to say to somebody that got raped is, why were you waiting that? Or basically, it's not their fault. That's the first thing you want to tell them. And for them to feel like they are in a safe space where they can talk, and share how they feel emotionally and everything. So those structures are here. The only thing is they're very effective, but they are underfunded. by the government. That is the problem.
Okay. What would you say about the legal aspect in maybe Gabon? How effective are the laws to fight against rape in Gabon, your country?
Okay. We have some of the work organization or collective to combat rape involving prevention, awareness and support the victim, training of professionals, the improvement of the judicial system and the change of mentalities about my country.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Estella, Liberia, are the laws effective? Is the judiciary effective in, actively and timely prosecuting cases of rape, ensuring the justice for victims?
For me, I would say no, because I come from the criminal justice background. The first thing, when somebody complains, the government should reply to them immediately. It's not taking a long time, because the longer time you take, some of the evidences they will all go away, and to go through the investigation will be difficult. So I think we need to be more effective with the law. We need to bring in more law that protect women and girls. Let's make this a national emergency, because when rape is a national emergency, you realize that everybody will be informed that this is a trending issue and we need to go far away from it. Yes. So I think the government needs to do more in terms of protecting women and girls.
Okay, quickly, let's get your reactions. I see Lorena Kule says she's watching from Liberia. Games Banking says Africa needs to unite to fight this menace. That's good. Mark Rogers says he's following from Grand Kidmouth County. Okay, that county borders with Sierra Leone in the western region. We stick with you, Estella. What are your recommendations quickly to institutions in your country, to the government, including community leaders, to ensuring that this issue of rape is minimized and that justice is served for victims?
Okay, so the first thing I'll say, we need to do more awareness. People need to be aware, and a lot of women and girls need to be empowered, because when you are empowered, you have a voice. So I've come to realize that a lot of rape cases are not being reported because a lot of people feel shame to stand up and say what happened to them. We should not be like that. A lot of people are afraid of the police. A lot of people feel like the justice system is messed up, and most of the people are one-sided. A lot of people feel that only rich people can get justice. So we need to do more awareness, and we need to create a safe space for everyone so that everybody feel a part of the society and they'll be free to raise their voice. Once they are aware, they will know what needs to be done.
Great. Alicia, what are your recommendations?
Okay, we must return that life is a gift of the Lord. So nobody can come and put the end of the life of every young lady of a woman. So resources centers helping victims to avoid complication and treat possible infection, provide them with medical, psychological and legal care, as well as social support, and help there in rebuilding life.
Great. Sensi, your recommendations?
Yes.
Please.
So I totally agree with Estella, and I love what she is doing. She mentioned earlier about gender equality, and I noticed that a lot of the times, like they say in rape, somebody gets raped, it's not always desire, it's about control and dominance. So when it comes to gender equality, the one way you can fix it is education, basically. So especially for the men. So in that case, I will definitely suggest, teaching about consent. Okay. Teaching about consent in school. A lot of us, I should mention that Africa, we don't, maybe I'm wrong, but in most countries, we don't have sexual education in school. So people kind of put that aside like it's a taboo thing. So when people act out or do certain things, it feels like it always has to be hidden. So we need to talk about it. Okay. Boys need to understand that girls also go through this, and this is how they affect them, and things like that. So people can be more aware of the psychological trauma and the damage of everything that goes with it.
Great, great.
To add something.
Yeah.
This act is punishable because when somebody come and destroy the life of other people, this guy must be punished. Okay. Because when I said life is a gift, so what kind of punish? We have a sentence up to life imprisonment, the legal amendment to little sexual assault, and the better protects that victim.
Okay, great. Let me say thanks to you, Estella, for being a part of the show today. We really admire your level of expertise, and we hope to have you another time on the program. Thanks so kindly.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Alicia, for being available, and we will certainly call you back another time for another topic to discuss.
Okay, thank you too, Sarah, because I was very shy. Sorry, I was very shy, but when I came here, inside, I felt the peace and more trust within me.
So that's why you need to come often to discuss it so that you get used to it. And Sissy, thanks a lot for being here. We hope to have you another time.
Of course, it is an honor. Like I said, when it comes to mental health, psychology, anything like that is something that I'm very passionate about. So I will be honored to come back and discuss about any of those type of topics.
Great. Well, listeners and viewers, this is where we conclude the 15th episode of Take the Lead here on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM in Dakar, Senegal, on YouTube at WADR News, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and worldwide at WADR.org. It has been an amazing pleasure to have you with us. Please join us next Friday for another live edition of the program. Remember to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people in Africa. My name is Augustine Cully. My love and best wishes to you all.
We thank you for listening to this program in Nigeria on Darling FM 107.3 Owerri, Southeast. Thank